Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Observation Deck. This episode should serve as a dire warning and should be made known to any and all people who value not just their freedoms and liberties, but in fact every conceivable aspect of what it is to be human. And I am certainly, as you will see, not exaggerating this fact. In my previous episode on 3.7 or 37, I think, or at least I hope, I started to open the eyes of a few still sleeping in the illusionary world of this Orwellian nightmare. And I don't think even Orwell envisaged what I am about to show you. Now, I mentioned the 37 episode, which if you've not seen it, I strongly suggest you do. But for those of you who made it to the end of that particular episode, I did in fact include the patent by Microsoft, and the patent number being 666, obviously, for a chip that claims it will allow cryptocurrency to be transacted via an implanted chip. Well, as you will see, that is simply a cover story to allow the application to go through. But its true application is buried deep within the collection of documents included within the patent application. And it is these other aspects that form the real basis for this application, and all of those aspects are more shocking than the last. Now, imagine you put a patent in for a simple laser pointer, the harmless dot you use while giving a lecture. Now dig a little bit deeper into the application documents and you find it can also be used, when fully switched on, as a directed energy weapon. Well, that's exactly what Microsoft did in this place. So I really hope you're sitting down for this one. Hi, and welcome to a much closer look at the Microsoft patent. As if, as you will see, 666 was not in your face enough. Talk about rubbing in the obvious. It is the not so obvious I want to cover with you today. And believe me when I say, even I had to pick up my jaw back up off the floor. Before I get into that, please take the time to help me help you, because this keeps my work going when no one else will support it.
There was a time when I had my head in the sand. Then I found out that power players pass lies for truth and truth for lies, especially in areas of life and health. I used to stay quiet, and now I speak up. I red pill my family, I red pill my friends, and I support redpillliving.com. Red Pill Living has real health products that support longevity, vitality, and detoxification against the deep state attacks on your health. It's redpillliving.com. Wake up, stand up, speak up.
So, I hope you guys enjoy your discount, 10%, and allow me to bypass the restrictions placed on my channel here. So let's dive in and allow me to take you through what they did not want to make so obvious. We're going to pop over and take a closer look at the application, and along the way I'm going to share with you some other information you may not have known, which will help you understand just how long this idea has been a sick dream of psychopaths. Let's take a look at this. So I'm going to start on the page that everybody had seen at the end of my last video, which was the video on 37. And as I say, if you haven't seen it, please look at it. So we're on the WIPO IP portal patent scope. And as you can see here, we've got the patent here for the year 2020 and 666. I kid you not. Cryptocurrency system using body activity data. Right, so this is this is the front, all right, the cryptocurrency system, because it gives you the impression, and actually before I jump ahead, as you can see here, Microsoft Technology Licensing LCC, so you can see exactly who it is and all of the other information down there. But what I want to bring to you is, if we look at the description first, all right, let's just go to the description. Here we go. So, cryptocurrency system using body activity data. Background, a virtual currency known as, so it's talking about all the cryptocurrency. An example of a virtual currency, cryptocurrency, wherein blah, blah, blah. So there we go. Then it goes on about the electronic cash system. So it's all connected at the moment, and this is what people are going to be seeing. And then the summary, even, it says here, some exemplary embodiments of the present disclosure may use human body activity associated with a task provided to a user as a solution to mining challenges in cryptocurrency systems. So they're going to be mining user activity, human body activity. They're going to be mining the data for human body activity. Bear with me here. For example, a brainwave or body heat emitted from the user when the user performs a task provided by an information service provider. In other words, it's going to detect the data. Remember, this is body activity. This is actually mind activity. For example, let's just throw an example there. Brainwave or body heat emitted from the user. And this is still focused on the transaction of cryptocurrency, all right? Just cryptocurrency. Data generated based on the body activity of the user can be proof of work, and therefore a user can solve the computationally difficult problem unconsciously. So take a very close look at this. The user can solve a computationally difficult problem unconsciously. You mean it's bypassing the unconscious, because it's using this chip to do it. But this is not what I wanted to point out. But they're still talking about the act of trading in cryptocurrency, all right? And that's exactly what it is. Now we're going to have a much closer look at the actual documents. So for those of you, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below, but for those of you, so we've gone from the data, which everybody gets to see, and nobody really goes past page 1 and they look at this and go, oh my god, what a bunch of bleeps. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to documents, and you can see just how much this application has got in terms of documents. And a lot of these documents, you can read them for yourselves if you want, but the one that I want to cover with you guys is this one, which is the third one from the end. So it's the 26/3/2020 application body as filed. So if we go to this one, which is a PDF, 34 pages, and here we are. Now it starts off quite innocently, if that's the correct word to use with this application, talking about virtual currency, also known as digital currency, is a medium of exchange. So it's, again, it's expecting you to read the first few paragraphs and about the blockchain, and all of a sudden then, you know, we all fog over. But let's take a closer look. So in the summary section, we'll start off in the summary section. We've got quite a few pages, but in the summary section, it goes on to say about mining challenges, mining cryptocurrency, and is expecting the human mind to be mining the cryptocurrency, when we already know, those of us who are familiar with cryptocurrency, that humans don't actually mine cryptocurrency. A whole slew of computers, usually networked together, do the mining. So this is already obsolete from that perspective, but this is how they got it through the back door. So there are solutions to mining challenges in cryptocurrency systems. So up until that point, we're talking about cryptocurrency. Now it gets interesting. For example, A brainwave or body heat emitted from the user when the user performs a task provided by an information or service provider, such as viewing advertisements. Oh, hang on a second. We've jumped from cryptocurrency. So now they'll be able to collect the data of brainwave and body heat emitted from the user when the user performs tasks provided by an information service provider, such as viewing advertisement or using certain internet services. And this data can be used in the mining process. All right, so they can actually collect your brainwave data and they can use advertisements, split testing and all that kind of stuff, or using certain internet services. I would suspect all internet services. Then it carries on about cryptocurrency systems, but let's go to the next bit I want to bring to your attention. So we're talking about methods and hardware aspects of computer readable storage media are provided herein for a cryptocurrency system. This is just a front, all right, using human body activity data. According to various embodiments of the present disclosure, a server may provide a task to a device. That's the bit that's in your head, by the way, of a user. And the user may verify whether or not the body activity data satisfy one or more conditions set by the cryptocurrency system and award cryptocurrency to the user whose body activity data is verified. Now, how do you suspect your body and mind activity is going to be verified? But it gets worse. So point 25 you can see here. Different types of networks, for example, but not limited to computer network, telecommunications network, cellular, mobile, wireless data networks, and any combination of these and or other networks can be connected to the device that's now inside your body. So you are literally a walking Wi-Fi data gathering system. And this is talking about your brainwaves patterns as well as most of your other bodily functions, and I presume by now they could also include in that translation of mental brainwave patterns, as it were. And then they probably even know what you're looking at given your emotional state, because it's going to do that. User device may include any device capable of processing and storing data, information and communication over a communication network. So personal computers, servers, cell phone, tablets, laptops, smart devices, e.g. smartwatches and televisions. So it can be connected to absolutely everything. You have become, through this front door cryptocurrency chip, literally part of the human version, Internet of Things. I hope you're understanding the connotations that's buried in this document, people. But let's continue. So here it says, alternatively, sensor 140. So the fact that they're calling it a sensor, and if we have a look at Fig 1, it seems to be separated from the human body. Sorry, it's its sideways view. I will probably flip that for the video, but as you can see here, sensor 140 is not directly connected to user 145, but 145 has got to be able to transmit information. So I would suspect that the chip itself, if there is in fact a chip within this patent, talks directly to sensor 140, and the user device 130 is either your laptop, your mobile phone, possibly with an app or something, or your PC, and then that fires up the information to the communications network. And of course, I mean, well, we're throwing 150, the cryptocurrency system, but like I said, that is just a cover for all of this that's going on between you, the human, the sensor. So the question is, how does the human speak to the sensor? Well, there's probably only one way, and it's Mr. Gates's penchant for wanting to stick a needle in everybody and chip the hell out of them. So the sensor is going to be picking up all of your internal body and mind activity. The sensor is going to pick that up. The user device, say your PC, laptop, mobile, that's going to fire it up to the cloud. And 110, see, they've got cryptocurrency over here. 110 is basically the control mechanism for everybody else. So let's just go back to exactly where we were previously. So as it says here, alternatively, sensor 140, that's the external sensor, may be included and integrating user 130, that's you. For example, user device 130 may be a wearable device having a sensor 140 therein. The sensor 140 may transmit information data to the user device. So here it could be a wearable device by the looks of that. The sensor 140 may transmit information data to the user. The sensor 140 may include, for example, but not limited to, functional magnetic resonance imaging, scanners or sensors, electrosonographical, EEGs, sensors, near-infrared spectroscopy sensors, heart rate monitors, thermal sensors, optical sensors. What you mean to say it can see what you can see? Optical sensors, radio frequency, RF sensors, ultrasonic sensors, cameras, or any other sensor or scanner that can be measured or sensed body activity or scanned human body. For instance, the MRI may measure body activity by detecting changes associated with blood flow, and the fMRI may be used a magnetic field and radio waves to create a detailed image of the body, e.g. blood flow to the brain to detect areas of activity. And it gives you a link to Berkeley, the brain movies. All of these body functions now being monitored and uploaded to the cloud. And as I say, let's just forget about the cryptocurrency side of it for the moment, because I think, as I said, that is just a front. And before I go any further, just remember that while they are using these thermal sensors here, remember that thermal sensoring is one of the ways that you will be tested to see if you've got, I don't know, COVID-19 perhaps, or something like that. You could be sitting in front of a nice warm fire or sunbathing, but what I'm saying is there's not going to be a lot of body functions that is not going to be picked up by this sensor and then fed straight back to the cloud. It shows one example of how the MRI can measure brain activity associated with visual information and generate image data. So it can basically see what you're looking at. And if you connect that to the brainwave activity that it's going, it's literally getting every piece of data that your unconscious normally gets and uploading it to the cloud with this system. That, my friends, is one scary system. And you and I are part of the Internet of Things. But let's carry on. So in Fig 3, moving on to point 5 here, it shows a flow diagram of a computer implemented method according to exemplary embodiment of the present disclosure, right? So apart from all of the hoo-ha there, this task includes, for example, but not limited to, this is the sensor, remember, and it's picking up your information, watching or listening for information, e.g. advertisement. So you're sitting there looking at an ad, and remember, the Berkeley Institute, they can actually decipher what you're looking at for a certain time using services such as, so it could be anything, search engine, chatbot, email, social media networking services, and any internet or web service. Then censoring that, they upload or sending information data to a website or a server or a network, e.g. content sharing website and cloud, or any other information service which may produce effects on the user. And this may be included as a transaction in the public ledger. They are literally going to monitor absolutely every aspect of your internal mind and body, depending on the activity of a search engine, chatbot, email, social media network service, and any other internet or web service. So do you understand now when I was talking about the cryptocurrency part of it is just an absolute front for total 100% monitoring of your mind and body? And as I said right at the beginning, what it was like, past tense, to be an independent human being according to this application will no longer be the case. Let's move on. Point 25. The body activity may include, for example, because obviously this is being picked up by the sensor, but not limited to, radiation emitted from the body, brain activities, body fluid flow, organ activity or movement, body movement, and any other activities that can be sensed and represented by images, waves, brain waves we're talking about here, signals, texts, numbers, degrees, or any other form of information data. Examples of body radiation emitted from human bodies may include radiant heat of the body, pulse rate, or brain waves. Brain waves may comprise, for example, but not limited to, gamma waves involved in learning or memory tasks, beta waves involved in logical thinking and conscious thought, alpha waves which may be related to subconscious thoughts, theta waves which may be related to thoughts involving deep and raw emotions, delta waves which may be involved in sleep or deep relaxation, or EEGs, which may be measurement used to evaluate the electrical activity of the brain, such as deep concentration. Examples of body movement may include eye movement. So, oh my God, facial movement. So they're going to map your expressions or any other muscular movements. Furthermore, brain activity can be sensed using the MRI. The MRI measures brain activity by detecting changes associated with blood flow. And all this, people, on an application just to deal in cryptocurrency? Really? This technique relies on the fact that the cerebral blood flow and the neuronal activity are coupled. When the area of the brain is in use, blood flow to that region also increases. Does this scare you yet? This is literally stealing your mind. This system, this patent from Microsoft, is literally lifting your mind and uploading it to the cloud. Now, as I said earlier, obviously it's a complete system, but that body sensor has got to be talking to something within your body. It really has. So it's going to include, I think, a link up with ID 2020, because the chip side of thing isn't mentioned here, but there has to be a transceiver somewhere giving that sensor information. And remember, this is all based, or will be based, on the 5G network. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to get an MRI scan in real time or any of this stuff. So you're going to be bombarded with EMF waves at the same time using the 5G network. Now, if you thought for a second that brainwaves and all of this was something that's so far out there, it's just impossible to understand, I'm going to come back to this, but in the meantime, I want to show you a little clip from the 1960s, had an eye on the future then. Just watch this clip and then we'll come back here.
Electronic mind control research is not new. A scientific milestone in this area came in the 1960s when Dr. Jose Delgado demonstrated remote control over a charging bull. By connecting a radio antenna to electrodes inserted into the bull's brain, Delgado proved that the animal's aggressive impulses could be thwarted by electronically manipulating the bull's muscle reflexes.
Do you realize the fantastic possibilities if from the outside we could modify the inside? Could we give messages to the inside? But the beauty is that now we are not using electrodes.
In recent years, Delgado has shown that the behavior of monkeys can be altered using low-power, pulsating magnetic fields. But in these experiments, there were no antenna implants.
Any function in the brain, emotions, intellect, personality, well, could be perhaps modified by this non-invasive technology.
Delgado's research has so far been limited to animals. But in the Soviet Union, a radio frequency, or RF device, has been used for over 30 years to manipulate the moods of mental patients. This scientist, who did not want his identity revealed, is employed by the U.S. government and has done secret RF weapons research. He believes that tests done with the LIDA and similar machines prove that humans are susceptible to remote alterations of mood and awareness.
Certain kinds of weak electromagnetic signals work exactly like drugs. And so the promise is that anything you can do with drugs, you could do with the right electromagnetic signals. Apparently, there are specific sites involved, specific functions involved. It's a matter of matching up, just like it is with a pill or a drug, to cause and effect. You could have a cause and effect relationship between a magnetic field and a biological function.
Now remember folks, that was back in the 60s, and we've obviously moved on a lot further since then. It speaks more about the body and the mind than it does about cryptocurrency. So I'm going to leave it there for you, and you can make your own minds up, but we are now quickly moving into the age of what I can only be described as some kind of hive-minded Borg controlled by AI. I guess in conclusion, hiding such details as listed there, as you've seen, is clearly an attempt to place a smokescreen in front of what this patent's true intentions are. And it's nothing short of total invasion of personal privacy through mind and body. I would have asked if there is nothing these people wouldn't stoop to, but it seems clear there's absolutely not. As I pointed out earlier, the sensor system makes no mention of something like the ID 2020 chip, but cannot do what the system claims without internal feedback from a remotely transmitting unit. But here is the aspect which has not yet been covered, and although I'm certainly no expert in this area, that does not preclude me from using pure logic. So consider this. Although this paper mentions wearable technology, it did not say it would be that way. It merely used it as an example and left the personal monitoring system out of the equation and focused on the sensor array and uploading of the data in real time. And since we all know how underhanded these people are, I know of no current technology that can do all those things this paper covers from outside your body. In order to map, gather and transmit the internal mind and body data, this includes visual and emotional perceptions, it cannot be done from even a single located chip. The only way I can see all this information being collected is through the use of nanotechnology swarming around your system, released or booted up by, say, external commands, and I suspect through microwave 5G systems. This, considering all the data, you would need masses of extra bandwidth with low latency to do all of this, and 5G fits that bill perfectly. This is not about having a single chip implanted and relaying all your ultra-personal data. This is about an invasion of your body so profound, so disturbing. As I said at the outset, Orwell would be wide-eyed and astounded just how far these people are going. Our very humanity is at stake, and it seems the hive mind of control is coming even closer. Many have spoken of mind control before, and many more have looked upon it with skeptical minds. But when you consider the implications of a chip that at command will release nanobots and sensors into your body, and when you take into account this patent as an addition to that nano invasion, the idea of mind control and digitization of what it is to be human jumps to a whole new level. I found it sort of how ironic, or maybe not, the aliens in War of the Worlds were defeated by Earth's invisible bacteria, and that we should find ourselves in that same position. This is not just mind control. This is mind, body and soul control. So, with that in mind, as always, I look forward to reading your comments below. And remember, question everything, believe nothing, and stay curious. I'll see you on deck very soon.